Welcome to the next video in the series Get the App. Before we get to that, I must, I'm going to ask you to watch the video all the way through, because I'm going to end with an offer, an open invitation that I feel may be just the thing you need. So we get on to the topic now, and as a prelude to that, today, Saturday, I went to Monchique. The cats, Junus and Damiana, have got sort of wise to the idea of giving them food, and then I make my escape, because they think I'm their mum. So they follow me. Last Wednesday, I tried sorting out the water situation here. It was a 4-hour round trip, because I couldn't get to the source by the sort of normal route. But then yesterday, I followed the normal route, which means just wearing Crocs, no socks, and wearing long trousers, because all the gorse and the bramble just sort of wraps around the ankles and scratches them. And Junus came all the way there and all the way back with me, bless him. So that I know that they travel quite a distance. It's fortunate there's motor vehicles come past, so they disappear. But they haven't come back yet. I've been back for several hours. Incidentally, that's why you can see this new sort of, where are we? This new sort of, it's a brand new 5 metre by 3 metre tarp. It's like, that should now finally successfully solve any sort of water leakage under this seating area. So, Junus and Damiana, the natural tendency obviously is to worry. Where are they? Why haven't they returned? But knowing full well that they have a homing instinct, they come back when they're ready. So where the attention goes, the energy flows. So we don't focus on worry of where are they all right, because we're safe and secure in the knowledge that we know they're all right. And I vision seeing them coming back, and they will come back. Another part of this, you've probably seen in the videos, a little white cat with 3 black markings, who I called Charis 2, replacing the original Charis who just disappeared about last August, I think it was. And unfortunately, Damiana gets jealous of him and very sneakily waits till they've gone down the valley, and then she just chase him off. But I hadn't seen him for about 6 days, and it was actually Junus that chased him off, because he's become feral again. So it's just accepting what it is. Yes, it's sad, but really, what can I do? I can't really tell Damiana off. I can't be cruel to her. So I just have to accept. So you have to stay neutral. So anyway, we'll get properly onto the topic, already 4 minutes. And that is, imagination creates reality. I'm not saying anything new here. All I'm doing is giving you testimony of the teachings of Neville Goddard that I put into practice. And so we go from there. Now, if you've never heard of this before, it is going to sound very much like, oh, that's just wishful thinking. But it's quite the opposite. It sort of comes back to what I've said in previous videos about doing the unthinkable. But in this case, what you do is you vision the outcome that you wish to see. So a perfect example is this covering. I wish to see the water leakage problems every time it rains coming to an end, and well, hopefully this time it'll work. We've still got to have the cat test on it, and of course the rain test. So we'll see how it goes, but I have every confidence in it. So vision the thing that you wish to achieve or that you wish for. You go with the law of assumption that you already have it. Now, the external reality and what your five senses will be telling you is it's not here, it's not happening. But you have to override that and impress upon yourself that it is, but it just hasn't become material at that present time. But you vision what you wish to create, and then you just leave it alone. You don't go back to it and put in doubts and worries, why hasn't it happened yet? Because we're dealing with a realm that is unseen, where such things as timescales, like you can apply to this reality, like a pregnancy for a human is normally 9 months, give or take. And there are many other things, the life expectancy of a motor vehicle on law of averages and things. But this is an interaction with the unseen, which you communicate with the five senses turned inwardly. So you hold true. So basically what you're doing, you are becoming the archer, and you are also the arrow, and you set the course for the vision you wanted to create. So now you see it through like the arrow to hit the bullseye. So whatever it is, you just hold true to that, and you overwrite what this reality is showing you. You could liken it to, well, the world is a stage. So you've been presented with a script, and you're saying, I haven't got this, or I would like that, or whatever. So you have the power within you to edit that script and say, okay, the script is what it is, but I feel I can create better. I can co-create, and I can add in my own influence, as it were, from the vision that you have created. So it follows the pattern like learning to walk. You take baby steps. Don't try and do anything ambitious, because this may be something new to you that you've not tried before. So start with something simple. Start with something you already know, something you have experience of. So for example, picture within the next 2 or 3 days, you are going to find a feather, maybe in the most unlikely of places. You just create that in your mind. You know what a feather feels like. You know how light it is. You can even add details, if you so wish, of the actual colour of the feather. I've had testimony from someone who did come back and say, yes, they did find 3 yellow feathers. That, in part, was because I visioned, or the mind's eye was shown, that it would be yellow feathers that they would find. And now another personal testimony to this is this very device that I'm speaking to you on, and the previous device. The cell phone prior to that had all sorts of problems with it. If you check back the earlier videos on this channel, I had many comments saying it's only coming through on one speaker. There was a fault with it, and I just imagined holding a phone, because I'm drawing on the experience of, I know what it feels like, I know the weight of it, I know how I would feel. You see, you ask yourself the questions. If you have a cell phone that has faults in it, just say to yourself, how would I feel if I had a replacement phone? Now, you don't start putting any details in of I can't afford it, because you're putting a negative which is going to interfere with that manifestation. In both cases, with this cell phone and the previous one, it only took 6 days from imagining that, not thinking any more about it, and then within 5 days, hey, I've got enough funds from a position of zero funds to enable me to get a replacement cell phone. The first one, I think it cost me £50. It was a second-hand one. It lasted for, I suppose, about a year. That developed a fault, so we repeated the exercise, and then this device came along. I think this one cost about £89, and it was brand new. So as and when, well, this is already unfolding anyway. I know it. I know that because I have been offered a phone, which again I put the thought out like a post-it note of there's going to come a point where this cell phone will need replacing. So we just put into practice the same thing. It follows the same pattern as learning to walk. It's repeat, 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 until it becomes second nature. Or are you telling me that you tried taking a footstep as a, I don't know, 9, 10 or 11 month or a year old young child, and you fell over and you said, right, that's it, I'm not going to do walking anymore. I've tried that and it hurts. Or are you going to override that so the walking becomes second nature, so you don't even have to consciously say, I need to put the right or left leg in front of each other. So with this manifestation, start with something simple. Another example I can give you, I thought, we'll follow the Neville Goddard one of picture yourself climbing a ladder, because I thought that's really unlikely, that's not going to happen. Within 2 days, I'm laughing to myself because I'm thinking, hold on, I'm standing on a ladder. So that was proof that it works. Now the distinction is, it depends what you're trying to manifest, because we create a Tower of Babel. And when you consider you're talking basically from your conscious to your subconscious, if it is something in this material realm, I suggest that you be very specific. You put in as much detail as possible. So, and you can draw on experience. So with a cell phone, you've already got a cell phone, you know what it feels like to hold in your hand, you know the weight of it, and so on. So you draw on that. Say it's a car. Say you want a brand new car. You put all the focus into the visualization. What does that car smell like? Does it smell of like new leather inside? This kind of thing. What does it feel like to have the seatbelt? Does it feel too tight? All these kind of things. Oh, I think I need to adjust the steering column and adjust the seat. Pull the seat back, the backrest up a little bit, or recline it a little bit. This kind of thing. Be very specific, because the subconscious won't know what a motor car is or a cell phone is. So you have to really impress upon the subconscious. Another example of this was, there was a particular day when I was still in Scotland. The very next day was the last day that I had Wi-Fi connection, and I needed to get £30 together. So I reinforced that vision. I was picturing holding and visualizing a £20 and a £10 note in my hand. I used tarot card readings with positive messages that I'd only a few days prior to that listened to, and I played them again because it is further impressing upon the subconscious. Because the subconscious is neutral. It doesn't know good from bad. It doesn't know what is fact from fiction. It just follows what the conscious mind will send across in communication. So on the opposite polarity of that, as it were, if you are having these thoughts in your mind of I haven't got, or how am I going to pay for this, or all these kind of things, or I'd like to do that but I can't because, all those negative objections, because you're not going to bring the object that you wish for to fruition if you are creating you're objecting rather than creating the object. Excuse me. And of course you don't worry about the time scale of it. The more you do this, the easier it becomes. It is something that you've already been through with learning to walk, learning things in school. I don't know if you can remember the sensation when you're presented with the 12 times table, and probably you had the thought, I'm never going to remember all this. But of course, through practice, through repetition, it becomes second nature. You just sort of know it after a while. It comes at a sort of loss of that intuitiveness that you come into this reality with. As a young child, it's still there, but through this education system, it is to sever that connection, to hide this co-creating ability that you all have inside yourself. But even if the first time you don't succeed, just do it again. Just say to yourself, no, I'm not accepting that I can't do it. I can do it, and I will prove it to myself. That is all you're doing. You're just proving something to yourself. Another interesting phenomenon, when you can reach that point of neutrality, so you can just see things for what they are without feeling the sort of sadness, the loss, really plunging yourself into those negative feelings. If you can just accept what you can't change, because it's already happened. It will be like trying to wish yesterday to be different. It's already been. But you can steer yourself to the future you want from the present moment, because we are a presence in the present. Now, are you going to present yourself as a present, as a gift? Are you going to discover those natural gifts inside yourself? I'm just trying to, well, even coming here to this place, I had the very sort of fluid vision of, because I didn't know what it would be like. I didn't know whether I would like the warmer temperatures, which I actually do, based on what I know of this physical being, that it prefers warmth, but how warm? So the opportunity came to come to Portugal, and it built upon the previous visioning of some of the most basic things: a roof over my head and access to water, and we'll sort out everything else beyond that. We'll cross each bridge as we come to it. Picture, say you were on an island. Would you build 20 bridges that you're never going to use? That would be a waste of energy to construct something in the mind, which of course the subconscious will respond to. And more likely, those bridges that you have already created, it will work in the opposite way, so you'll start doubting yourself more. So adopt the attitude, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Now, to some degree, you can take active steps. So using the car as an example, say it's what they call a pre-owned, a second-hand car, had a previous or more than one previous owner. But it's something that you wish for. It might be a practical vehicle, and you don't really want to go to the expense of a brand new one. You just want a sort of workhorse vehicle to use. I could certainly do with one myself, but that would open up a whole can of worms of then we've got to register it and insure it and all this sort of thing. So I'm better off with a push bike. But you can take active steps. You can start looking around dealerships and things. You can go through the motions with the assumption that you have the funding for it. So you're now taking active steps. That is signaling the external reality because you're holding to the vision. So you're putting out an energy where the attention goes, the energy will flow. So you're holding to that. I'm going out to buy a replacement car or whatever. Even if you don't get it that day, I mean, if you were in a position where you have the finances and everything is all in place, are you just going to make a snap judgment, especially with a second-hand vehicle, or are you going to just window shop for a while, just be sure, use your intuition as well, and if you've got anybody with mechanical knowledge, that might be an idea to take them along as well. But it's all taking steps in that direction. But what if it's like with the cell phone, from the position of having a zero bank balance, as it were? So you just create the vision, you don't go back to it, and you just hold to it. There's not really much in the way of an active step you can take, apart from not doubting what you have already visioned. So hopefully that has given you the pattern, the technique. Don't expect to manifest, I don't know, a mansion or something, although it is entirely possible to do if that is something you really wish for. But it's simply asking yourself the questions. What is it I wish for? How would I feel if I've already had it? There's your basis on which you build, and then you can take active steps, or you can just go with the flow. Just don't doubt what you have created, because you will miss the mind if you start putting doubts and fears and start worrying about the time scales of things. It will just follow as and when it follows. Think of it like a pocket watch. So all the cogs have now got to sort of turn and sort of click into place. It's a bit like opening a safe. It's turning a dial and you get till you get the click, and then turning it however many places till you get the next click. So who knows? It could be within minutes. It could be in a couple of years. It just depends what it is. It depends how much you can communicate within yourself between your conscious and your subconscious, and not allowing the doubts and the fears to interfere with that, because they will set up an interference pattern which will negate the manifestation. So I invite you to try it for yourself. It's exactly what I did following Neville Goddard's teachings, and I thought, this is something different. He's passed. He's not asking for any membership or whatever. What have I got to lose? Let's try it. Let's see what happens. So we stepped into the unknown, starting with very simple things and building upon that. Now, another example is hearing a piece of music in the mind. And then you're saying to yourself, oh, that would be lovely if that came on the radio. And often, within half an hour to an hour, it can actually happen, because there's no real physical object as such. The physical part is you are the recipient of what you've wished for. It's an amazing experience, and it is something I'm still building upon. Now, I could say things aren't right because I haven't got this or I haven't got that, But we don't do it that way. It's a complete opposite way of approaching things. Not coming from that negative polarity, but coming from the positive polarity and the law of assumption that you already have, but the physical eyes can't see it at the moment because it is still in the unseen. But the more you tune in to the intuition, to the inner voice, that feeling will reinforce that vision. You'll just know it inside yourself. The only way you are going to know it is to try it for yourself. So hopefully that has explained what imagination creates reality is. If you look at the description for this channel, one of the things I came up with was, there is no nation except imagination, because you are a co-creator. So anyway, we'll get on to the final part, what I mentioned right at the start of this, somewhat, way back 21 minutes ago. And that is an offer to you all. That is an open invitation to come and stay here. It may be just the very thing you need. During the summer, it can get quite hot, and it's too hot to do anything, but you could just sit and relax. You could be in nature. It's a wonderful therapy. I'm not going to charge a fortune because it is basically self-catering. Either come in a caravan, bring a tent, or there is the end building, which is okay in the summer. Still needs some work doing on it, which I'm sort of visioning the ability to put things right with that room so it's better than it is now. So the invitation is there. What you'll get out of that, you'll get a one-to-one interaction with myself. You could treat it as like a private consultation. The way I look at this is, I have no transport to be able to come and collect you from an airport or a railway station or whatever. So you would have to make your own way here. So that would mean you'd incur expenses, the travel costs and such like. So the nominal fee of €50 for a week, and as part of that you will get the opportunity to enter into conversations with myself. If you have any problems in any way, then maybe that time, that quality time spent in this beautiful setting will make all the difference for you. So the offer is there. Contact me via email and then we can go from there. There's plenty of scope, and it would be beautiful if there were more people here, so this could be turned into a fully functioning community. There's only so much I can do. Going to Monchique and back takes several hours. I don't rush. I enjoy the journey. Well, I enjoy the journey once I know that the cats have stopped following me, because I wouldn't like them to come too much further. It's concern over traffic and dogs and things. But I know they'll be back later, and yeah, we just don't focus on worry. We stay true to oneself. This is part of the standing in your power as well. So hopefully that has given you something to think about. It's a chance to have a cheap holiday as much as anything else. It's a chance to get away from all that external world and just rest, recover. You don't have to do anything while you're here. You can just enjoy being here, enjoy the moment, as it were. And then if this sort of lifestyle does appeal to you and it is something that you could feel could work for you, then perhaps you could stay longer. That would be entirely down to you, but you're not going to know unless you try. It does require that stepping into the unknown and just going from there. But you're doing yourself a disservice when you don't step into the unknown, because it's fear and doubt that is going to hold you back. So as always, I'm going to say unconditional love to you all. Do check out the description, the services that I can offer. There is the mentorship, there is the courses which I'm going to be opening up to a sort of membership for this channel as a way of doing it and doing the videos on there. Reiki healing, distance healing I can do, and of course 7 tarot card readings, which will just reaffirm your situation from like an outside perspective. It won't predict for you the future or anything. It is just telling you how things are in the moment, and it's just getting a second opinion, as it were. Because if we're in the middle of something, we only see from that inside perspective, but the tarot cards give you a sort of outside perspective, just affirming what is in that moment. And then from that, what you do with that advice is entirely up to you. You have to weigh these things up inside yourself. So, right, we're up to 32 minutes, so that's quite long enough. The invitation is there to try the imagination creates reality. The invitation is there. So I've taken an active step because I've broadcast it out to the external world. So even creating this video is taking an active step, which goes towards other things that I have visioned that I don't see with the physical eyes the proof of it at this present time. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to doubt that these things are going to happen. It is something that I have learnt from the experience, and so I thought, let's pass this on. Let's clarify what imagination creates reality is, because it is not wishful thinking. We can all have wishful thinking, but of course, what happens with that? It's not happened. I don't think it's not gonna happen. Or we create an objection straight away. It's not possible. Let's move past that and stay true to self. Be the archer, be the arrow, and hit the bullseye. 3-step process, really. So as always, unconditional love to you all.